Oh, good evening, darling.
Good evening.
Have a seat.
Really?
What's the matter?
It's a little.
It's perfect.
Alright. Okay. This is great.
Are you comfortable?
Not really.
Well, we have things to talk about. How did you get into this field?
Well...
Stop fidgeting.
I'm sorry. Well, I've been an artist most of my life, if not all of my life. My mom always says I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil. I don't know how old that is, but I spent several years in several different mediums, airbrushing, etc., and I enjoyed them for a while, mostly while they were a challenge. And once I learned to airbrush, some of the fun was gone, and I worked for a company in a mall, and they didn't like that I didn't use stencils and didn't project pictures. So I got out of that field.
And this is what's left?
This is, this has been over the last few years, last 10 years. Most of this is pretty old now.
So you dumped that for this?
I had twin girls and moved from California to New Hampshire. A few stops in between, but I worked for a retail company, large retail company, I won't mention the name, and I spun my wheels there for 9 years and completely got out of art altogether for the family. Basically, I did it. I needed to make money, needed to buy a home, which I did, and after several years of that, I decided, it was probably 2 years ago, I decided I wanted to work as an artist again. And
You don't like my seat?
can I sit down next to you or something?
I look better lounging.
Yeah, great. I'm sure I look great fidgeting.
You look fabulous.
Trying to fit. That's the story of my life, trying to fit. I left my job and started working as an artist again. Started with some airbrush, did some mural work and a few other things, but nothing made me happy. And I just took a shot in the dark at a haunt called Haunted Acres and went and said, yeah, I know how to do special effects makeup and zombie masks I made on a weekend just on a whim. And I got the job. Started making zombies every weekend for the entire month of October. And I started with just doing a few zombies, and after my first few went out, the gentleman in charge said, we really like them, we're going to put you in charge of the graveyards. It seemed like every time I went back, it was, I did the graveyard, then they gave me like a clown to do, a killer clown, and before I knew it, I was doing at least one makeup from every house and a couple of the roamers, and I loved it, but I wasn't satisfied because everything was a rush. You have to rush and get every makeup out, and I really loved it. It was the first time ever artistically I found myself just satisfied. I loved doing makeup, so on the weekends when it was all over, when I was done, I would make up my children, my wife, and just practiced. At the time, I was only working with latex, pretty much because that's all I could afford. And I just covered my house and my children, and there was latex everywhere. And that was pretty much all she wrote.
Must be a good woman.
Yeah, she is a good woman. She doesn't mind being made up. Go figure.
So why should you be on Face Off?
Well, speaking of my wife here, we watched since the first season, and I loved the show, and she loved the show. My children loved the show, and every year she told me, "You should get on here. You should get on here." And I kept saying, "No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I don't even know what I'm doing." And she said, "No, you can do it. I know you can get on there." I have kind of this unorthodox style because I'm self-taught. And like I said, it was something that I loved so much. She just kept encouraging me to do it, and I had an excuse every year. Finally, I think she wasn't going to tolerate it anymore, so this year she told me, "You need to go on there." And here I am making a video, which is almost as uncomfortable as this chair.